Most people in life are looking for how do I make a living and how do I make a retirement worth having. I can be impassioned in one moment about a topic that's priceless to me, and I can be non existent, non listening in a topic about girls' clothes that I could give a shit about. Except I can tell you what color looks good on your face and what lines look good on your body, as any man can. Especially if you're trying to turn my head. If you're not, it doesn't bother me. I don't quite get the holy genes, but I like to call them religious because, hey, they're holy. That's my joke. Not very good, but I'm allowed to it. The point I'm making is that when you're homeless, you get all kinds of looks, you get all kinds of smack talk from little white boys who are Catholic, who are living on mommy's and daddy's dime, and they want to tell me I'm the man. You're damn right I'm the man. Because I had a life, I had a wife, I had a child. I put food on the table, a roof over our heads, and I did it for the longest time until some shitbag like you stole my computer, stole my telephone, and ruined my life. There are people here who live in poverty, who live above the poverty line or choose to live above the poverty line, like the panhandlers here. They choose to collect your kid's coin. They choose to collect your coin. I don't choose to collect coins because it doesn't pay for one thing. Now, it's true, it's humbling to have to go to a store that usually gives me free water and then have some new teller want me to walk up to the register and have her pay 38 cents out of her pocket to pay for my water, when normally the girls just say, go ahead and have some water because the corporate office has approved you to have some water when you don't have any pocket change because of the weather, because of the elements, because of the rains, because of the droughts, because of whatever reason your business isn't going very well because we get you. But in homelessness, you have to decide, are you someone who could ever be homeless? And most of you will say, no way, not possible, and I used to say that too. I knew people like me who were homeless and I couldn't understand it. What I knew was that they took theirself into an off-balance part of life. They took one part of their life and promoted it so much that it interfered with the other aspects of the balance of life. In life, we have areas 7 or 8 that make us whole in the world, whole in our life, and in balance and successful, whether we make $1 million or not. That life balance, 8 spheres, if you will, of infinite life balance, of infinite possibly happiness and peace, are pretty straightforward in the world. And yet we have college students that walk by me every single day and never think to say, hey, have you had some water today? Or better yet, have you had some lemonade or tea today? Because I understand enough about the human body at my age of 20 or 21 or 22 or 23 to recognize that water alone will not help a homeless person. Water is the key to life, and we learn that from every religion of the world, but water with a little sugar in it, water with a little bit of caffeine in it, water with a little lemonade or lemon in it keeps us healthy, wealthy, and, well, wise. What I mean by wealthy is wealthy in health. So the next time you see a homeless person, why don't you offer to buy them a $1 can of tea? Is their life not worth $1 to you? To me, I'm going to ask you the same question. What is your life worth in the hourly wage that you're going to make when you leave this school? What is the hourly wage that you in your career choice will make when you leave this school? And I guarantee you haven't even thought about that yet. What I mean is, if you haven't figured out how to live your life to the fullest like you're living now, high on the hog on your parents' dollars, then you haven't figured out life and you could end up homeless. I'm not talking for you to study, become a wealth investment manager, and maybe you've got a wealth portfolio that your parents put aside for you when you were very small. But if you're interfering with someone else's wealth development, if you're stealing their intellectual property, if you're ruining their papers, if you're putting them around the community without their consent, if you're committing fraud on someone's life, you're likely to end up in jail. I can tout jail, but I've been there a couple times at people's hands. Not my own. But I knew that I had to commit to the experience. I could have written a whole fucking new manual for them about how to improve the life of those men, but they didn't ask me to do that. I did that in my free time, and I threw it all away. But I know that someone picked it out of that trash, because I've seen part of it, online and off. But the point I'm making is that intellectual property is a gift from the Lord. It's not something for you to take. So as we get back to talking about you and your life, what is your life worth today? What is your life worth in the hourly aspect of living to produce for you a home and shelter, food 3 to 6 meals a day, whatever your health needs are. Some people eat small meals 6 times a day. Other people just eat 3 large full meals. And are you old enough to know what foods address well in your body and what foods just make your entire mood go awry? I know that I'm addicted to Doritos. I know that I can't live without iced tea. And I know that it has to be sweet tea because my body needs just a little bit of sweet since I'm not eating a lot of sugar foods most of the time. You see, the human body is unique to each of us. And the illnesses that my father had will not necessarily come to me. The illnesses my mother had may not necessarily come to me. Their allergies are not necessarily mine. As a matter of fact, I have unique allergies compared to them. I have similar things, but I also have very different things. So when you're trying to feed me with your leftovers or what you picked out of the trash, I don't find it funny. You want to prove to me that you're an adult in this world and you see someone who's homeless and you feel that the Lord is prompting you to do something other than smart off? What I'm encouraging you to ask is something really simple. Have you had a chance to eat or drink today? A beverage with a little lemonade or a Hawaiian punch that gives you the water you need and the sugars that your triglycerides need. Whatever that is, I don't know what that is, but that's what I'm putting out there, and let the health majors fix all that for me. Or is there some goal you're trying to accomplish today that I might be able to support with me or my network or resources or my parents' money or their business's money that would help you get a little further out of homelessness? Homelessness is the tragedy of the world, but it is also something that is growing by leaps and bounds in population during a time of COVID, a time of pandemic. And some people are sick, but they're not sick with COVID. But we have a liar in the community running around saying she's in charge of checking whether or not people have COVID or not, and whether they should be on campus or not. And the answer is no, they should not. They should be home with their families, being loved back to health. But at the same time, she should not have access to their medical records at all. This concept of continuity of care is killing our nation. It means that people cannot go to another health facility to get a second or third opinion from a different specialist on the most unique illnesses of the world. The specialists for my community, sadly, are dying off. But I know what my body needs, and it's been proven to me now over the last 2 to 3 years after people who don't have any right to my body started monkeying around in my health care, thinking they'll just flip a switch and everything will be fine. That is not what works for me. My migraines are back. My everything else is back, and they're killing my health. It's why I barely walk very far. But I'll tell you what I will fight for. I will fight for the rights of homeless people and people who are trying to get out of poverty. There are plenty of panhandlers that don't want out of poverty. They've been on their street corner, they've been on their spot for 5 or 8 years, and they are territorial. You wouldn't know that by talking to them and giving them coin. They'll be as happy as a lark and peaceful as they can be with you to get that coin from you, to get that love from you. But the minute you're gone and they hit another street person, they are territorial, saying, what the hell are you doing here near me? Instead of realizing that Lord Jesus Christ wants all of us fed. So whether I'm a Christian, a Catholic, a Lutheran, a Methodist, or just straight pagan like I am, and a pagan priest for that, I'm telling you, you have no rights to talk to me if you're going to talk to me and insult me with your bread. Bread is not something that we need as homeless people. Yes, it's nice to get beautiful things from Panera when they're done at the end of the day, and they have been loving and kind to my ministry. Unfortunately, they closed on Green Street, so they're nowhere near me, and I'm not going to keep walking my ass out to the mall because they can't keep employees there who can remember what the program is at all. But if you want to help people who are homeless and you're not willing to trust them with your cash to say, here's $5, here's $10, please have a meal on me because I want you to do that, then what you can do is give them a can, and I'm saying you a can, not a bottle, a can of sweet tea, a can of lemonade, and a smile. At the very least, it costs you $1 by Arizona Tea Company anyway, or by Circle K, God forbid. But the reality is that if you're willing to do something for someone a little bit more, then you can buy them a can of protein, which means a can of chicken, or a can of ham, or a can of beef. That'll cost you maybe $2 to $4, depending on what it is. But please don't give people tuna, because there's no place for them to defecate and handle their personal business. And a lot of people have allergies to those things and preferences against those things. I got people coming up to me all the time asking me for lighters and other things, and when I offer them food, they're not interested from me. And I can tell you, your goodwill ideas of putting bags together and chips together and shit together for people to have, they don't want that. They'd rather have your money that you invested in that, because then they can choose for themselves at the store what they need. And if they're an addict, that's not on you and it's not on me. But if they're wise, they'll start doing healthy decisions and prosperous ideas with the small pocket change that they earn. And that's the story that I'm sticking to.